about the basic commands of AutoCAD program. So if you are more or less familiar with this program, you may not find these courses very sufficient, but I'm sure that you will find something beneficial in any case. So let's get started. I will start by sharing my screen, and I hope that you can hear my voice. If there is a problem, please just let me know. So here it is. It's Imperial Highness AutoCAD, one of the most commonly used programs by engineers, by architects, and so as you see, I just clicked that program, and we will start by start drawing. As I usually recommend, firstly, don't be scared. There's a lot of details in the interface of any programs. And when you start working, I don't know, 4, 5 hours, 10 hours, you will get used to all of these interface details and so on. And in any case, you won't use all of the details which you can see here. Mostly, we will use this part, the home part. So as you saw, I clicked the start drawing, and one of the basics rules which we have to follow is to define our units. For example, I open my sheet, right? So I will click, and by the way, I will recommend you guys to take notes of the commands which I will mention. But in any case, I mentioned them in the poster, but some of them I might forget. So I really recommend you to just write down, take a note, the commands. So we start by units, U and N. I just typed U and N. As you can see, we have here units. So here there are a couple of options. You can choose millimeters, centimeters, or meters. It doesn't matter. But you have to be consistent with the logic of your work. For example, let's just imagine that your wall is around 2 meters, let's say. If you click centimeter, that will be 200 centimeters, right? So you just have to catch this logic. So I picked the centimeter. So I picked the centimeters. We are done with units. And then let's just type L. L is the most commonly used command, and it's for the line. You just press L and you can see the line here. For example, I pick the line. I can draw whatever I want in any angle, so you're absolutely free here. But also, AutoCAD is a very let's say professional program, and you can set according to what you want. For example, there is an ortho in AutoCAD. If you press F8, I press F8, and I switched on my ortho. And again I type L for the line. I press enter. And this time, AutoCAD will not allow me to draw in any angle which I want. We are able to draw only in a straight angles like 90 degree or 180 degree. For example, something like this. Let's do something like this. This is for the line. For example, from here, we can choose the polyline, usual line, the circle. For example, let's select circle here. You have to type your radius. Let's say, I don't know, 200, but it will be very small, I guess. Yeah, it's really small. Actually, let's delete these parts. Okay, this is 200. So again, let's draw some lines. And by switching off our ortho, I press L, enter, and I press the right click of my mouse. So you have to define where your line will start. So for example, I choose this place and go wherever I want. For example, something like this, it doesn't matter. In this course, these shapes are not important. The aim is to learn. For example, we draw our circle here, or we can also draw an arc. Actually, let's firstly draw two lines and draw arc between them. I have one line. I press copy or C and O. You will see the command of copy. I press that. I pick the point where I want to get that line. I take it, and for example, bring somewhere here. And now we want to draw an arc, right? For the arc, there are a couple of options how you will specify your points. And now it's in 3 points. For example, I select 1 point and then second. So according to that point, you can define how deep or what will be the height of your arc. For example, this part. And now, if we imagine that we want only this part, but we don't want this remain part, again, there is another command called trim. So you press T and R. Again, T and R. You will see trim here. After you press 1, you have to press enter double time. 1 and 2. I'm sorry. You have to press enter 1 time after that. TR 1 and 2. Now it works. For example, the logic of TR is to trim the last part of the line. For example, if I bring here, it will clean this part. If I bring here, it will clean the line in between. Or if your line is separated, so it's not connected to anything, it will not cut that line. So let's just clean this one. So as you can see, we have here a form of the arc. So now, firstly, let's bring this one here. And now we will speak about the selection methods. Again, there are 4 types of selection and two main logic. For example, I press my left click of the mouse. I can go to the right side or I can go to the left side, and as you can see, the color changed. The logic of the blue color, it will select everything. It will select everything inside that blue rectangle. But the logic of the green one is it will select everything what it touches. Look, for example, I touched only these lines, and it selected only the lines which I touched. Let's do the same thing with blue one. For example, blue one touched this one, but it didn't select. So the same logic can be implemented if you press the left button of your mouse, click that and hold it. Again, you will have an option of a blue color. If you go to another site, again, you have an option of green color. For example, let's come here. Now it's blue. So it will select only the parts which are inside our blue area. As you can see, let's make it green. For example, I touched only these lines. So as you can see, only the lines which contacted with my green area now selected. 1 second. And now we spoke about the line. Let's speak about the polyline as well. When we draw using the L command or the line command. Again, I press L, the line appears, I select that, and let's say I draw this, this, and this, and I pressed escape. These three lines are separated from each other, so they are independent from each other. But when we press polyline, we can see that here as well, but also we can type PL for the polyline. I will draw a very similar shape to this one, but what is the difference is that it is now one part. As we can see here, there are three lines, but here it draws as one part. Let's bring it here. One second. Actually, let me make sure that I'm recording. Yes. Okay. So now we will discuss about the layers. By the way, because I'm explaining from a distance and online, I thought that it will be better if I just explain, and then you can download this course and you can repeat. If it will be a kind of live course, you could do at the same time what I'm doing, but unfortunately we cannot do that at the moment, so you're able just to listen now. We will speak about the layers now. One of the main purpose of layers, again, in order to make appear the layers, you will type LA, and as you can see, we have here layers. One of the main reasons of working by layers is that to separate different things. For example, if we assume that we've got a building, you can separate a layer calling it, for example, wall, and then another layer you can call it window, and so on. And also here you can change the characteristic of your line. Since here all of them are white, for example, let's just change the color here. And also you can change the line type. We'll discuss about it a bit later. And line weight as well. So from here you can change the layer. Now I'm in window layer. So if I press again L for the line and draw something, we will see now green lines, because we are in different layer than these drawings. And later I will show why these things are important, because otherwise you will be really confused when you have got different kind of drawings, but we will discuss that later. So now we will discuss about the properties. For example, every single line of AutoCAD have got its own properties. Let's go to this one. Let's go. Let's select this one. For example, this line is selected at the moment, and from here we can change its characteristics, or we can type a command called properties or PR. So I selected properties, and in here again you can change the from here you can change the layers. If you remember, we had walls. If I pick the wall, it will be, which one was green? I think window was green. For example, I changed the layer and it became green. But let's make it 0 now. For example, line type. Let's change the line type of only this line. One second, we can do that from here. you have to load different kind of lines. For example, I press load, and from here you can see different kind of lines. So, for example, let's just pick one of them. Let it be dashed line. So for this one, now we can change it. So as you can see, we just changed the characteristic of the line, and it's now a dashed line. And what we have got here, we have got a scale. For example, let's make it 10. And as you can see, the scale of the line changed. Or 2 or 5, it doesn't matter. I mean that you can do that according to the logical size of your shape. And we have the line weight. For example, let's make this one 30. I'll remove this. And from here, as you can see, show or hide line weight. I press this, and now you can see that this line is much thicker. So when you print in a real paper, it will be much thicker. You can also adjust the transparency of any line. For example, let's work on different line. For example, we go to these ones. We again press PR, properties. We go to the transparency. Let's make it 50. As you can see, it is less transparent than other lines. By the way, all of these you can also do from the layers as well. For example, again, I press the layer. I go here for the window. You can set your own presets for the entire of the layer. For example, here you can just set for the entire layer of window 30 or 25, or it doesn't matter. So we spoke about properties. Let's speak now about the trim. About the trim command. Let's extend this line a bit, and this line as well. I press TR, T and R. I select trim. Firstly, again, I did a mistake. TR, and I press enter 2 times, 1 and 2. So now, when we go, for example, to this part, it will make disappear that part which remained after this line. Or if I go here, let's just cut them, for example. I go here, I press, and I cut. I go here. Firstly, it shows how it would look. So I go there and press, so it's just disappeared. For example, because this line is a separated line, you cannot trim this because there is nothing to cut this line. For example, again, I go to trim. When I go here, it shows that we cannot trim that, or we cannot trim this ones as well. When we extend this line, we can see that there is a line which can allow us to cut. For example, TR, and now we can cut this remain part. After that, the command of rotation, rotate command. Let's bring this one. Let's make it again. This. Let's just rotate this shape. Firstly, you can select whatever you want to rotate. For example, I selected this shape. I press R and O, rotate. I press the rotate, and now I have to pick the center of the rotation. It can be here or here. For example, let's just pick this one. Now look, because our ortho is switched on, we cannot rotate as we wish. Again, I press F8. So now, when our ortho is switched off, we can rotate in any angle which we want. For example, let's do like this. Let's bring it a bit here. And there is another way of rotation. For example, again I pressed R and O, rotate. Rotate. Select object, this one. Select the base point. Now it's the same, but when we go here to the references, when we press the reference, this rotation will be much more controlled rotation because we are at the moment picking 2 points. And why we need this, for example, if you have got some reference points, let's say it have to be in the same line as this one, you can bring and just rotate to this shape, according to this shape, or to the edge of this shape, let's say. So there is 2 types of rotation, which mainly can be used. 1 second. Another command which called copy. Again, we pick some of the shapes. Let's just pick 2 of them. For example, let's make like this. We pick 2 of these. And then I press the command of C and O for copy. And it asks for me the base point. I can, for example, pick from here, or I can pick from here, it doesn't matter, or from here, and copy it wherever I want. Let's just remove this. You can bring it wherever you want when your ortho is switched off. But when I again switched on my ortho, again F8, now it will allow me to copy only in a specific angles, for example, 90 or 180. This one also very useful when you are, for example, copying some of the furniture inside your plan, let's say. And now let's speak about the command called offset. As you remember, we joined these lines, and I pressed the command of offset. So O, F, and offset. So, and then you have to define your distance. Let's say 10. No, 10 is too small. Let's make it a second. 50. 50 is pretty good. So as you can see, we've got another line very similar to this one, like it is scaled, but it is offsetted. And what is important is that your lines have to be joined. For example, this was like a one part, and because of that, we were able to offset that in this way. But if we just draw a rectangle, for example, line. Again, I press line. I bring here. For example, if I try to offset this one, it will not allow me because there are 4 different lines. So your offset would look something like this. Gain offset, press enter. I make it 100. And let's just do something like this. But even if you have got these kind of shapes, you can turn it to this one, like these parts are empty or like they are trimmed. For example, these lines are not going along to the up part, by using the command of fillet. So you can find that command here, for example, fillet, or you can also type that again, F-I-N-L, fillet. And for that, you have to select two lines. For example, look, I select this line and this line. Look what it does. It removes all those unnecessary parts. I select this line and this line. Again, I press fillet. I select this line and this line. Or I can select it from here as well, as I told. I go back, I select this line and this line. Let's just correct it. Let's just do for all of them. So as you can see, the shape is the same as this one. But we can do the same thing by using another command, which is trim. We discussed about it around 2 or 3 minutes ago. Let's do it by the trim command. Again, I press TR, I press enter 2 times, and I remove all unnecessary parts. So, as you can see, the results is same, but the way how you are doing is different. So according which command is more comfortable for you, you can use that specific command. And personally, I use trim more than fillet, but also fillet is also a very important command. And now let's speak about another command, which called mirror. For example, let's select something. Let it be this one. And I press M and I, and it appeared, as you can see. I select the mirror, and now I have to define my point of mirror. So it has to be here or somewhere here. For example, if I go here, it will mirror to the upside. But if I go here, it will mirror to another side. And also, when you click your mouse, the left bottom of your mouse, it will ask you to erase the source of the object. So it also depends from you. If you say yes, this part will remain. But if you say no, it will just. Oh, I'm sorry, I understood wrong. 1 second. Control Z. Mirror. From here. Erase source object. If you say yes, it will just erase that. So as you can see, we don't have another part. And now let's discuss about another command called scale. Let's come here, or let's pick this one. I press S and C. So also scale appeared. Again, I have to pick any point. For example, let it be here. I pressed, and as you can see, you can scale your shape as you want. But also, if you type, for example, 2, it will just double its size. Or if you go back, again, S and C, scale. We selected the point. If I write 0.5, it will make it 2 times smaller. And the scale command is also very necessary when you're working with the furnitures of inside of your plan. Another command is divide, and it is very essential command when you are drawing stairs. Actually, let's just pick this one, or these ones are separated. Let's just pick these lines. For example, I picked this line and I tried to find the command of divide, D and I and V, divide. I press, so it's asking it asks me select object to divide. So I select this one and enter the number of the segments. For example, let's say that only in this part you have to fit around 6 or 8 risers. So you will just type that number, for example, 8, and press enter. And behind this line, when we delete this, these kind of small lines appear. So after this, for example, when you want to draw the part of your stairs, you again press RL for the line, and then you can draw very easily your stairs without measuring or something like that. Let's close this one as well. Our next command, 1 second. We spoke about scale, we spoke about divide, align. Let's speak about the align. For example, this shape is rotated, but we want to align this shape according to the face of this shape. It's straight, right? But this one is rotated. So in order to do that, of course, we can do like this, again, by using rotate and picking those 2 points. Come here and select those 2 points and then do like this. But also there is another command called align. Let me switch off my ortho. Actually, I switched off my ortho. As you can see, it shows here. Again, align. I select this. So it asks me to select my object. Let it be all of these whole shape. I press enter. So I have to specify my first source of point. So the first one has to be this one, and the second is this. The third one is another part, and the fourth is this. And I press enter, and it asks me to scale my object or not. Usually we say no. For example, let's say no. As you can see, it aligned to the face of this shape. But if you say yes, let's see what it will do if you say yes. Align. Again, first point is this one, second, third, and fourth. I press enter. Let's say scale this object according to this face of that shape. I say yes. So it scaled this object. The length of this object changed relative to this object. So again, it depends from what you are doing. If you want, you can select the scale, or if you want, you can just skip this option. Let's just bring these shapes somewhere here. I go to the layer. Let us draw something from the wall layer, and let's change its color. Let it be red. So now I'm in different layer, and whatever I draw, it will change its color, as you can see here. One second. So these layers, polylines, and let's just mention the hatching. Hatching is important when you are drawing. Actually, when you're specifying your materials. For example, let's just imagine that we want to hatch inside of this frame, and let us imagine that this is a wall. I go here, hatch, as you can see, it's here. I press the hatch, and you can select very different type of the hatching. Of course, all different hatching mean different materials, or they have got different meanings. So it depends from your materials. For example, let's just select this one and replace it here. As you can see, our entire inside part of the frame is hatched. And again, as a usual line, these hatchings also have got the same logic. For example, I press here, I press PR for properties. And from here, you can change the scale of these hatching. It's 1 now. Let's make it 10 and just look how. No, it's for the line. I'm sorry. It will be here. The hatch scale, it will be here. For example, let's make it 10. So as you can see, it became much bigger. Or let's make it 2. Actually, let's make it 4. And also, as a usual line, you can also control its transparency. For example, now it's 0. If you make it around 40, it will be less visible. And when you print, also, it will print according to all of your settings and presettings. For example, when your transparency is lower, when you print, you will be able to see that. For example, let's put some hatchings on inside different shapes, different kind of hatchings, without thinking too much what they mean. But anyway, for example, here or here. And usually, when you are hatching, your laptop works a bit slower, so it's totally fine. Let's go and let's select something else. For example, this one, and we select AR concrete here. And as we discussed before, you can change the properties. For example, let's change its property. I mean that let's change its layer. For example, now it's wall in the layer of walls. Let's make it window. So as you remember,
Badriddin,
yes,
there's somebody who raised their hand.
really? 1 second. I cannot see that. I cannot see that. Anyway, I will ask if there are questions. So there is no so much remained. I'm almost done. Uh, as as you noticed, we changed the layer of our hatching here. Uh, so let me explain the last part, which is printing, and then I will show one example of our own drawing, and then we can switch to the questions if anyone have question according to what we have done today. For example, I press Ctrl P in order to print, and here there are some details or some presets which you have to prepare. For example, here you will do, actually when you are making for the first time, this one is not so much important, but here you have to pick DVG to PDF, and then your paper, let's make it A1. It's really big, but anyway. And from here, you will select window, and you have to select your drawing. Let's select all of them. I don't know, will it fit inside A1 or not yet, but let's just check. Also, usually AutoCAD tells you to fit it to the paper, and you should not do that when you are printing the real plan, because it will not be scaled. So in order to scale, you will remove this from fit to paper, and then there is some rules which you have to follow. For example, if you remember, my units were centimeters. If we just suppose that you work in millimeters, 1/100 will be the scale of 1/100. So the logic is same as you're drawing like a technical drawing. 1/100 is 1/100, 1/50 is 1/50. But when you are working in centimeters, as I did here, 1/10 will be 1/100, 1/5 will be 1/50. For example, let's just preview this one. And we cannot see anything. Very strange. Center. So as you can see, my drawings are really huge and they don't fit inside A1. Let's make it 1/100, or it will, if it still don't fit. Anyway, it fits now. And if we suppose that you work in meters, 1/1 will be 1/100, and 1/0.5 will be 1/50. So the logic, when you are switching from meter to centimeter and then to millimeter, so you are changing your digits from 100 to 10 and then to 1. So let me just open one of our works. Actually, for the second year student, I would recommend to pick their technical drawing homeworks which they had, and just try to draw them as much as you can. For example, this is our structural system design homework, but of course it's a bit developed version. But what I want to show is that even these kind of more complicated drawings, they are consist of those very simple lines. For example, this is a simple line, this is a dashed line, and you can see the hatching inside. the thickness of the line, the transparency of the lines, which I, for example, decreased here, and also different kind of hatching, as you can see here. So AutoCAD, of course, it's a tool, but the main tool is your knowledge. For example, when you know what to draw, you will be able to draw these kind of drawings easily. And for example, we have the measurements here, but I hope that my classmates will explain to you guys in the next course. So yeah, this was it for today. And if there are any questions, please ask. Is there any questions, guys? Okay. There is no question, so let me just switch off our recording from here.